real love isn't an emotional connection. Now, I know that is a bit of a hot take, but if you stick with me to the end of this video, I promise it will make sense. Lots of couples bond through emotional connection, and that is a beautiful part of a loving, healthy, romantic relationship. But the emotions in and of themselves are not what make the love real. So in this video today, I'm going to be talking about what does make the love real and why I'm saying this, why I'm saying that the emotional connection in and of itself isn't what makes real love. But before I get into that, I am so excited because I am opening up a brand new group program that's going to be starting live in July, and it's going to be a really small, intimate group program for you. If you are going through a breakup, you're having a hard time moving on from an ex, and your dream is to one day find real healthy love. So the program is called the Breakup Glow Up, and for a long time, so I've been working with clients for many years one-on-one, and so often people have asked me, when are you going to do a group program? Because a lot of you have expressed to me that when you're going on this healing journey of healing from bad relationships and finding real love, you're feeling really alone on that path. And a lot of you have wanted to connect with each other. And I know that when I've done group programs in the past for different things that I've been learning, I've made some really amazing connections and friends and people who I still talk to this day. So I wanted to create this group experience for you if you want to heal and you also want to feel less alone in that experience. You want to connect with other people going through the same thing that you are. So the Breakup Glow Up is a 6-week live group program, and I'm going to be teaching you everything I know about how to break the cycle of bad, toxic relationships and find real love. And not just that, we're going to be rewiring your negative beliefs about love and relationships that are probably making it hard for you to find that real love that you're looking for. We're going to be releasing your subconscious blocks also in this group. I'm going to be doing some energy healing with you. So it's education plus releasing some of the blocks that are making it hard for you to find real love. So if you know that you have wounds around abandonment, if you know you have feelings of not being good enough or not worthy of love, this is the program for you. There's also going to be a private Facebook group for you to ask your questions and connect with other people in the group. So if this is sounding like something that you would love to do, I'm going to leave the link to it in the description. Click on that link. We can do a consultation call and see if the program is right for you. All right, so back to talking about real healthy love. So real love, and let me get clear on my definition. When I say real love, I mean a healthy relationship, a healthy, loving relationship that has all of the good stuff that we're all looking for. Connection, good feelings, positivity, safety, security. So when I say real love, what I'm really meaning here is, again, a healthy relationship. And so real love isn't just how you feel for someone. So loving feelings can be present in a healthy relationship, but what I call real love is so much more than just the emotions that we feel for someone. Something that I notice in the work that I've been doing over the years and being present on social media and making these YouTube videos is we as a society are very focused on the emotions that we feel when it comes to our partners. We want to make sure we feel intense enough emotions when we're deciding whether we want to be with someone in the long term. And from my experience, this comes from romanticism. So for many, many years before that, marriages, partnerships weren't really based on romantic feelings. It was based on financial security, trying to continue family connections, family ties. It really didn't have very much to do with love, with emotions. And so when we came out of that traditional history of relationships and marriages, we moved into romanticism. And romanticism was the shift from being more logical, again, focusing on the traditional aspects of marriage, financial security, and moving into focusing on the feelings, focusing on getting together for love, for how we felt towards someone, for the connection we experienced with someone, which is great. That was necessary. We needed to move towards that as a society so that we could have these deeper, more intimate relationships, so we could feel love, so we could feel really connected to our partners. But big picture here, what I've noticed is we went from that extreme of just focusing on the logic and the security and all the things we were focusing on before to the extreme opposite, where now we are seeming to be mostly focusing on the feelings, how we feel towards someone, how much attraction we feel towards someone, how much chemistry we feel towards someone. And so where we need to come now, both personally and as a society, is we need to come back into balance. And to see that, yes, the emotions are important, absolutely. We want to have loving feelings, we want to have all that good stuff. But we also need to take into consideration the practical stuff. So when I say real love is so much more than the emotions, that's what I'm talking about. To have a real, healthy, long-lasting, satisfying relationship, we need more than the emotions. So what do we need? I mean, I don't think any of us want to go back to the times when women were treated as property and that was how marriages and relationships were formed. Definitely not. We don't want to go back to that. But when we talk about real love and healthy relationships, what we do need, beyond the emotion, beyond the attraction, is we need shared values. So do we even want the same thing out of a relationship? Do we want marriage? Do we want a lifelong commitment? Do we value having children? Do we value traveling? Do we value family connections? So being aligned on those things is one of the most important things to have a real healthy, long-lasting relationship. Also, how we treat one another. We can have such strong feelings of attraction and chemistry with people who really don't treat us that well. If you've been in toxic relationships or abusive relationships, you know this very well. And so we need a lot more than just the attraction. We need a person who prioritizes us, who is kind to us, who has empathy, who is able to have healthy communication with us. Real love also involves a commitment. Now, you can have a different kind of arrangement, like you can have an open relationship and maybe that works for you, but typically, real love does require a commitment to continue to show up even when things get hard. Now, I don't mean abuse. If there is mistreatment or abuse in any way, throw that out. But what I'm talking about is a commitment to continue to show up even when there's a challenge, even when there's uncomfortable emotions, even when there's something that you really don't want to talk about, but you know that you need to. Real love is also showing up to heal what needs to be healed for the relationship to thrive. So that means both you and your partner being able to grow and do the work that's necessary to have healthy communication, to treat each other with kindness, with empathy, with compassion. We need both partners willing and able to do that. Real love also means being kind and having empathy for your partner and being able to support them when they need physical support, but also emotional support when they're having a bad day. So there's so much more that goes into real healthy love than just the emotional connection and the attraction. So at this point, some of you might be thinking, well, this just sounds like a friendship that you're describing or an arranged marriage. Don't we need chemistry? Don't we need emotion? Don't we need attraction? And yes, we absolutely do want those things. But what I'm pointing to here is something deeper. Because let's say you're in a romantic relationship and you're not feeling the love in the moment because maybe you just had a baby and you're exhausted and you're overwhelmed and you're not feeling the emotional love in the moment. Or maybe you just got laid off from your job and you're feeling really sad about that and stressed about how you're going to make money in the future. You might also not be feeling the love in that moment for your partner. Are you then going to leave the relationship just because the emotions aren't there in the moment? Probably not, probably not. And that's what I'm talking about, real love. It's the commitment to keep showing up with loving behaviors, even if you're not feeling that emotional love in the moment. And I can share an example from my own life. I am not always feeling the loving emotions for my partner. I've got a lot of stuff going on. I run a business, I work with clients. There's sometimes things that go on where I'm doing my own healing, where I'm not feeling the big emotions for him. But I've realized over the years of learning what healthy love is that my job in this partnership to keep it healthy and to keep it strong is to keep showing up and being loving, acting loving, even if the feelings aren't there that day. The commitment that I've made to myself and to the relationship really does inspire me to keep being kind, to keep being loving, even if in that very moment I'm not feeling all of the emotional feelings towards my partner. And I think that's where we struggle a lot in relationships these days, because we're very much taught that love is an emotion, it's a feeling. And so we can wonder sometimes when we're not feeling that love in the moment because we're going through something, that we wonder if maybe we're not in the right relationship, or maybe we need to leave this relationship because we're not feeling all of those big feelings and we're not feeling that love anymore. And sometimes that does happen. Sometimes people do grow out of a relationship and they don't feel connected anymore, and the right decision is to leave that relationship. Sometimes that does happen. But often what we're experiencing is the normal ebb and flow of a relationship where the love isn't always there, but there's enough of a commitment and enough of a draw towards the other person where if we can continue to show up in that loving way, the feelings come back, the connection comes back. Because like I said, life happens. We're gonna go through lots of ebbs and flows in our relationship and through life. And again, that emotion, that loving feeling is not always going to be present all the time. And so if we're just looking for an emotion to tell us whether we're in the right relationship or not, we're gonna get really lost and it's gonna feel very confusing. Now again, I'm not talking about staying in a toxic relationship where you're not being treated well or there's no pull towards that person, there's no attraction. I don't mean that. But often what society doesn't teach us about love and relationships is that us showing up and behaving in loving ways towards our partner, that's actually what brings up those loving feelings. So now you might be thinking, well, if I don't feel those loving feelings for my partner, how do I know if I'm in the right relationship? And I would say if you generally feel positive in your relationship and have positive feelings towards your partner, that's a really good sign that you're in the right place. If you generally feel uplifted in your relationship, that's also a really good sign that this is the place for you. If you feel like you're becoming the best version of yourself, or you are already the best version of yourself in your relationship, that's another sign that this is probably a very good relationship for you. So what I've come to realize in my relationship and working with clients over the years is that, again, when we show up in a loving way in our relationship and our partner does the same, that's what cultivates all of the good feelings that we want to have. And that creates this really deep feeling of satisfaction that even goes beyond the emotions of love and all the chemistry and all of those really fun feelings that we're looking for. I actually consider the emotion of love a byproduct of being in a real healthy, loving relationship. So I like to say, emotions come and go, but real love is a lifestyle. So if you're ready for real love after a breakup, come join us in the Breakup Glow Up. I'd love to have you. All the info is in the description. And if you really find yourself drawn to the idea of real love, then you might find this video interesting. It's everything I learned about being in a healthy relationship after a toxic one.